From the New York City area, welcome to the Badass Counseling Show, where the master badass himself, Sven Erlandson, takes you deep and gives balm for the soul, baby.
Hello, hello. You have reached a live taping of the Badass Counseling Show podcast. It's great to have you here. On our Sunday episodes, we have already taped live a Q&A session lightning round, taking people's questions on their difficulties in life. I'm Sven Erlandson, the Badass Counselor online. On TikTok, I've got a few million followers, Facebook, about 500,000, and then several 100,000 across other platforms. And I'm just here, free of charge, cost nothing, here to take your questions, help you in any way I can. Our Thursday episodes are counseling episodes where I counsel people live on the show. Live taped, that is. I am joined by my team. In absentia is Sophia the artist. In studio, I have KC right over there in the booth. And right next to me, I have Rob the Rocket. Rob, what say ye?
It is true that there is no charge for this, but it is not true that you get what you pay for.
Ah, well played. Well, unless you ascribe to the theory the best things in life are free.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I see.
You're getting a lot, even though there is no charge.
There it is. Confirming it. Here we go. First question. Oh, just went haywire there. My thing went a little tippy.
Why do they save money on equipment around here?
Yeah, no kidding. All right. Right. Remember, these are taped episodes. So even though I say it goes up on Sunday, it's taped. Rob edits it, and then it goes up on Sunday. All right. Let's not. All right. Here we go. Questions. How do I stop myself from being breadcrumbed? How do I step back when I still love? This is from Scotty Joe on TikTok. How do I stop myself from being breadcrumbed? Breadcrumbed is when somebody is giving a little bit of love. Basically, what I describe in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. It's basically I'm getting a little bit from them, and I'm giving a lot. What I describe in my book as a relationship camel. Camels can go a long distance on a little bit of water or a little bit of fat stored in their hump, right? They can go all across the desert. I just need a little bit. Well, a relationship camel says, I'll do everything for you. I'll take care of that. No. Let me do that for you. And I'll do this and I'll do that. And oh yeah, you can be rude to me. And oh, you don't have to apologize and all this. Just give me a little bit of love because I can go a long distance on a little bit of love. You are doing that because at the root is the belief, I don't matter. My needs don't matter. I'm unlovable. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy of standing up for myself. I'm unwantable. I'm unlovable. Any derivative of those. And I talk about this in my book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup, okay? And I walk you through the process because what's happening up here on the surface is you are allowing. You said, how do I stop myself from being? How do I stop allowing myself being breadcrumbed? You're wanting to change a behavior. And what I talk about in the book is trying to change behaviors never changes behaviors long term. Hear me on that. Trying to change behaviors never changes behaviors long term. You have to change the core beliefs driving the behaviors. Until you change those core beliefs, you're going to boomerang, you're going to rubber band right back to the old behaviors. Why? Because the core belief is still, I suck, I don't deserve to have my needs met, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough. You're going to feel bad, or they're going to just reassert their power imbalance over you, and they're going to say, no, I don't want to meet your needs, and you're going to be like, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't. Right? So you stopping yourself, you can't stop yourself. It's like you're fighting yourself. You know you deserve better. You want better. It's not even you know you deserve better. You want better, and it doesn't feel good that you're only getting a little bit of love. You know you want more love, but you can't seem to stand up for yourself. Or when you do, you feel guilty. Or when you do, it's never enough because you always back down. And that's because the core belief driving you inside of you is, I'm not good enough. I'm unlovable. I'm unwantable. Or the real me doesn't matter. And the way you solve that is by going down and healing the core beliefs, which is why in a lot of therapy deals with flushing out your feelings and your pain and addressing fears. And that's very important work. And I do that too. But where my work goes deeper is going down into discerning, naming, and excising, cutting out the core beliefs that you were taught to believe about yourself that you cannot even see. I am fundamentally in the beliefs business, because those will drive more pain. Those will hamstring more lives Those will influence every single decision you make regarding career, regarding family, regarding love, every relationship, and especially regarding parenting. All right. And the reason you don't, and then your second part of the question, Scotty Joe, was how do I step back when I still love? The how, you're not ready to answer the how until you answer the why you're not stepping back when you still feel love, because you don't think you can. It's the exact same reason. You don't think you can. You don't think you deserve it. You don't think you're worthy. You're terrified that if I do step back, they may leave me. And then if they leave me, then all those voices inside of me, they begin to rise up and they say, oh, I'm not good enough. See, I'm a loser. See, nobody wants me. See, I'm unlovable. There it is. I'm alone. But when I've got somebody here, I've got somebody here. And that person here is a living, breathing counter message. Even if they're mean to me, but at least they're here. And the mere fact that they're here says what? I'm lovable because they're here. But if they walk away, or God forbid, I were to ever push them out of my life, then all those voices inside saying I suck, or I'm unlovable, or I'm not good enough, or I'm unwantable, or there's something wrong with me, all those voices rise up and they torture me from within. So when people say, oh, I don't like to be alone, or I don't like to not have someone, this is what they're really talking about. It's all the shit that happens inside of them. And so right now you're trying to change your behaviors and you feel like you have one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. You're fighting against yourself. You're stopping and starting, stopping and starting. But the real issue is you're trying to change your behaviors when your core beliefs say you suck because you were conditioned to believe that. So until you go back to where that conditioning started, you're fucked. All right. You'll forever be fighting yourself and you won't get long-term results. So that's why you got to go into it. The book is There's a Hole in My Love Cup. You can get it at the website, badasscounseling.com. All right. Rob, you got one over there?
It's a simple one from Jennifer, who asks, how can I learn to trust in relationships again?
And well, it's really the exact same thing that I was just talking about with Scotty Joe. And you are fundamentally, you can't trust, or you won't trust fundamentally because you are afraid. The opposite of trust is fear. Fear is the antithesis of trust. The greater the fear, the less the trust. The greater the trust, the less the fear. You can't force yourself to trust if you have fear. So then you have to drill down and you have to begin to ask yourself, if you and I were in session right now, I would ask you the question, what is the single greatest fear causing you to distrust? Well, fear of getting hurt. Well, what sort of hurt? What are we really talking about? Are them leaving? Or is it the fear that if they do leave, who are you? What's the one sentence you most fear someone saying or thinking about you? One sentence that would hurt the very most. Can you write it down? One sentence. And then I'm going to ask you this question. Who's the one person in the world most likely to say that to you? And you can't say the person you're leaving. It has to be someone else. Who's the one person most likely to say that sentence? Or who's the one person most likely to think it, even if they didn't say it?
Would you like to know Jennifer's fear?
Yeah.
Not being enough.
Well, there it is. Yeah, but that's the sentence you fear. No, what do you fear? No, what do you fear someone saying to you if you were to walk away from this person? They wouldn't say to you, you're not enough. They would say, what would they say? State the actual sentence. What would they actually say to you? Or think about you? Would they think you're not enough? Or see, you're a loser? See, you're no good? What would they say? Or what would they think about you? What is it you fear them saying or thinking? You got an answer?
Yes, she says that I wasn't worth it.
That's it. You weren't worth it. And so let me ask you this. Who's the one person most likely to think that about you or say that to you, other than the person you're walking away from? Who's the one person most likely to think that about you? Who is it, other than the person you're walking away from? Bob?
Not yet. I imagine. Okay. Oh, here we go.
Who is it?
You already know the answer.
Mom?
Yeah.
Your mom owns you. It's your mom's voice still judging you from within you, even if she never said it. You fear her voice, and that's what's keeping you in it. You are terrified of mom thinking, see, what was it? You're not enough?
That I wasn't worth it.
You weren't worth it, right. Your mother conditioned you to believe, and your dad obviously allowed it or furthered that message, and you fear them. That you fear that message inside of you. So when you walk away from this person, that message that you were conditioned to believe about yourself comes, and there's this giant storm inside of you. I don't know if you've ever driven in a snowstorm. Those of you who are out there who are from the far north, and I mean the far north, like Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, the far north, and driven, or, Canada, especially those inner provinces, and driven through a severe snowstorm, like where you're scared shitless. You know what I'm talking about. That you can't even see in front of your car. That's what happens when you walk away and that voice that says, you know, you're not good enough happens inside of you. You fear that storm, and that is your mother's voice. She fucking owns you. It is that voice that is keeping you stuck in this fucking relationship.
Would you be surprised to know that her parents divorced? And would you be surprised to know that it happened when she was 2 years old?
Mm. And likely raised by mom, and whether that message was ever explicit is irrelevant. It got conveyed implicitly in any number of ways that you aren't good enough. And that's been in you ever since. And that's in part what has created this mess of a relationship that you want to get out of now. No doubt you've allowed certain things to happen to you because you were taught you're not good enough anyway. Well, if I'm not good enough, I got to hang on to anybody I can get. I'll even let you walk all over me and take advantage of me and whatever. Just don't leave, because I so am afraid of those voices inside and that message inside that I'm not good enough that I will even keep someone treating me like shit so that I don't have to face those voices when I don't have someone. That's why we cling to shitty relationships, people. It is the fear of the voices inside. This is why the work in core beliefs is so important. Next question.
That was a simple question with a very deep answer.
Very deep. All right. Marquois Janiel asked the question on TikTok. How do you remain friends with someone who is deeply insecure and is always wanting to compete with me? The mere fact that that's a great question. The mere fact that you're asking that question says that you're questioning the idea of even being friends anymore. That part of you is thinking, I may not want to be friends with this person. Otherwise, you wouldn't even bring up that question. You know, like, no big deal. I'm just being friends with this person. So a part of you is considering, Marquois, a part of you is considering not being friends with this person, which is a concession. You are implicitly stating it doesn't feel good. Parts of this really don't feel good. In fact, it's at or past the 50% mark, where 50% of this relationship doesn't feel good. It's at or past the threshold of, I don't think I want to be in this relationship. But the real question is, what's keeping you in the relationship? Now, I'm willing to bet it's probably you guys have a history, right? Maybe you grew up together, or maybe you went through a hard time together, or she was there for you, or he was there for you, whatever it was at a certain time. And you feel like you feel like you should, but this person is deeply insecure and is always wanting to compete with you. And it sounds like you don't want this anymore. The mere fact of, how do I remain friends, as if like we're hanging on by a couple of threads, and I'm not sure I want to. But you want to remain friends because you're asking a question. So then I'll tell you. You put it out there. If you really want to remain friends, but you want this competition stuff to stop, then you explicitly state to a friend, you put your nuts on the line and you say, listen, I love you. All right? I love you. You're my dear friend, but I don't want to compete with you, and I don't want you to compete with me. And if you put it out clean like that, not fudge it with a lot of extra fluff and muff and duff, just put it out there clean. Then you know what you get to do? You get to watch. Because you are going to get one of two responses, and it will tell the entire story. They are either going to tell you some derivative of, you know what? You're right. I have been competing with you, and I'm sorry, and I can see how this is dragging down a relationship, and I'm going to work to not do that anymore. To which you respond, thank you. You've just shown me who you are. Right? They're listening. They give a shit. They want to change. They want to make the relationship better for both of you. Or they will respond some derivative of, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't do that. They will defend, deflect, dodge, or deny. Right? To which your response is, either explicitly or implicitly, thank you. You've just shown me who you are. And in either one of those cases, but you got to be clear in your initial statement of who you are and what you want, and that you love them and you want the relationship, but you don't want the competition anymore. And in either case, you will know from their response precisely what your next action is. The problem is you haven't put it out there. Or you have put it out there and they keep competing, in which case you've gotten your answer. You just don't like the answer. The answer is they want to keep competing. Well, that's on you now. You don't want to let go, but then you've got to dig down in your own journaling and ask yourself the question, why am I not wanting to let go of someone who clearly doesn't want to change their behavior to improve the relationship for me? Because if you have put it out there and said, I don't want to compete anymore, and they're still not changing, they are fundamentally saying, because of my insecure nature, I want to keep competing with you. In other words, my needs override your wants. My wants override your wants. My wants override the needs of the relationship. So this person is fundamentally willing to use you and use this relationship to get their own wants met. They're telling you what they think of you. I'm willing to use you to get my wants and needs met. Do you really want to be friends with someone who's willing to use you to get their own wants and needs met? Probably not. Next question is from an Omen on TikTok. Is it possible to co-parent with someone after an assault? Possible, sure. Yes. But likelihood of doing it and doing it effectively, you don't have a fucking choice. If the law is saying that you have to co-parent with this person, if the law is not protecting you from this person, or if the law is saying your children have two parents and this person gets X and you get Y, and X and Y have to work together, you don't have a choice. So is it possible? Yes, and it's absolutely necessary. Why? Because your kids need you to do that. Now, the truth is, if you don't feel comfortable with that, or if you want to try to change it, you go through the law and try to get it changed. That's up to you. Is it possible? Yes. But what I hear you really saying is how. And how is you draw firm boundaries, you keep yourself safe, you make sure your children are safe, and you keep yourself safe, and you draw firm boundaries. And have I mentioned firm boundaries and keep yourself safe? And you can't back down from that. But yes, you may be stuck co-parenting with that person. You don't have a choice. Next question. Hi, Swan. I would like to ask you, I was attacked by a gunman 2 years ago. I am still deeply fearful that something bad again will happen to me. Of course you are. He chased me down the street, tried to shoot me 4 times, beat me on the head. My friend said I should be over it. Okay, that's the problem. But I'm not over it in any way. I now work remotely from home. I hardly ever go out of the house. Do you have advice for me? Yeah, ditch the friend. Or, I mean, and I'm somewhat being facetious on the friend, but that's not what your friend said was so wrong in such a large way. Should be over it. I'm going to open it up to the peanut gallery. All of my followers, all right, all you peanuts on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Facebook. I have total about 3 million followers online now. I know I don't have 3 million following right now, but across these 3 platforms, in and out on any given live, I have about 20 to 30,000 people. And so I'm going to open it up and I'm going to ask how many of you, raise your hand. And this is a very specific question. Don't answer. Don't give some other answer. I'm going to ask this question to you. How many of you, and I'm including myself and Rob and KC, how many of you have been chased down the street and shot at 4 times and then in that same episode been beaten on the head?
I would remember that, and no.
I would remember that, and I have not. Yeah, I've had a gun pulled on me more than once, robbed, but that wasn't the question. The question was, have you ever been chased down the street by a gun-wielding man and in that episode been shot 4 times and then beaten on the head? Is there even one person who has? Now, maybe there is. Maybe there is one. Maybe there's 2 out of millions. Okay, what's my point, Teresa? My point is, how the fuck could your friend possibly fucking know what you should be over, what the proper time frame is, how much time it should take to get over being chased by a gun-wielding psycho who shoots at you 4 times and then beats you over the head? Honestly, I want to tell your friend to go fuck a duck. Fuck you. Not you, your friend. Should be over it? It's bullshit. My grandmother, Valberg Erlandson, her husband ran the family farm up in Kennedy, Minnesota, just south, Halleck, Minnesota, just south of the Canadian border by about 10, 15 miles, whatever it is. And my grandfather died in his late 50s from pneumonia. And a year after he died, their country pastor said to my grandmother, okay, Volberg, it's time to get over it. It's done now. Move on. And I remember hearing that story. Even I knew it was wrong when I heard it as a kid. Now, my parents were clergy and so forth, and even I knew it was wrong. You can't tell another person how long they get to grieve or need to grieve. It's a process. Okay, so someone telling you you should be over it, fuck that. So,
how can you possibly have a positive reaction to someone saying to you, just get over it?
Right. Like it's just that easy and you should be done, but now fuck you. All right, so Teresa, but back to your question. Do I have advice for you? Yes. That sort of thing is an extremely traumatic event. A near-death experience where you are being chased is an extreme fear-inducing event. The fact that you don't like to go outside, the fact that you work from home, it actually makes total sense. I can completely understand why you're doing that. I can honestly say I would probably be doing something very similar. That makes total sense. So I'm not seeing a problem here. But I'm also willing to bet that maybe the fear gets to be a bit much. And maybe not. No judgment. It's your life. Maybe you wish you got out of the house more, or maybe you wish you didn't have quite as much fear. And it's okay if you do. There's nothing wrong with it. It's understandable given what you went through. But if you wanted to, or you wouldn't be asking this question unless you were wondering, gee, is there something wrong with me? Because you inserted that thing about your friends. So that's causing you to question yourself. No, you are having a perfectly normal response to a massive traumatic event. Perfectly normal. What I'm going to tell you, though, is you need to get all that pain out of you and all the fear out of you. You don't have to. You're not a bad person if you don't. No, not at all. It's just why? It'll make your life better. You don't want to carry around fear. You don't want to carry around pain. It ruins life. You can still work from home. You can still stay in all the time if you want. I'm not telling you have to get out of your house ever. I swear to God. I'm just saying just get the pain and the fear out. Just do that. Now, it's hard, but it doesn't have to take a long time. Okay? It can take as long as you want. You can let it take a long time. Just go at your own speed. It's just that sometimes people get intimidated by, oh gosh, I'm going to be doing this forever. No, it's not. Not if you go deep. But if you want to pace it and let it take longer, that's fine too. But you don't want to be carrying that shit around. You know, it's like if somebody said, I'm going to strap this 100-pound bag of rocks to your back and you're going to carry it around for the rest of your life. Well, I could, but why the fuck would I want to? Why? What's gained from that? Oh, sure, it'll make my legs stronger for the first couple of years, but then it's going to start to fucking destroy my knees, destroy my shoulders. My traps will get huge, but then at what price? Jesus. No, be fucking miserable. That's what you're doing. You are carrying around a 100-pound bag of rocks right now, at least. And there are very simple tools. One is therapy, a good therapist, a trauma therapist, specializing in trauma. I would also recommend the book. Why? It's going to help you get down into that shit. There's a hole in my love cup. But yeah, I'd recommend going into that. And I would begin to journal about all your feelings of disappointment and resentment towards your friend as well. Because that was some hurtful, really hurtful, heinous shit that your friend said to you. That was fucked up. Now, whether it was intentional or unintentional, it was not cool. It's just, they are clearly uncomfortable. What your friend was saying is, I am uncomfortable with your pain. I want you to stop so that I won't be uncomfortable. Oh, so your pain is more important than my pain. Fuck you. That's what I say to your friend. All right, next question. Oh,
this would be a great time to talk about Community Plus.
Real quick, Community Plus on the website Badass Counseling is our more intimate support and growth group. It's for people. We have a group on Facebook that is 45,000 members strong that is called the Badass Counseling Group. And we started it just so people could have a bunch of like-minded folks. It's based on the book, There's a Hole in My Love Cup. It was originally intended for people who had read it, but we didn't require that. And we found a lot of people weren't reading it, but it was still a good support group. And so many people were saying, I want a group for people who want to level up their healing and getting to a fuller state of aliveness and authenticity? Would you create one, Sven? And so my team did. Actually, KC was the engineer behind the whole thing. And she got the team together and they created it. It's called Community Plus. And you get free access to me twice a month. We have drawings for free counseling with me, one-on-one counseling with me every month. We have drawings for small group counseling with me every month. We have free do-it-yourself videos on my 2 best-selling courses, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much there. It's Community Plus. It is fee-based. It is subscription-based. And it is so freaking worth it.
This show provides soul counseling intended to entertain and inform and is not medical advice. Now, back to the badass.
And we are back. We just finished answering Teresa's question on being chased down the street, being shot at 4 times and beaten over the head, and did I have advice? To which someone commented over on TikTok, gee, the United States is really a violent place. It's a non sequitur. At no point in her statement or question did Teresa say she was in the United States. Next question. Vintage 404. This is interesting because I have a lot of clients in this field. Vintage says, I'm 50 plus. I'm starting a new career in trading. The Series 7 test has broken my confidence 2 times. Advice? I love this question so much, and I'm not going to go into the background. Anybody can Google Series 7 and trading to explain what it is. It's part of the gatekeeping of, do you want to be a trader and play with the big boys and the big girls, and play for a team. Versus doing your own day trading on the side, and it's kicking your ass. Yeah, that's a hard as fuck shit. And I've counseled CEOs of Wall Street, and hedge funds and so forth, and it's broken your confidence. Of course it has. And that is the same as my clients who have had massive career success in ranching, massive career success in entertainment. Even for instance, the guy who wrote the music for our show, 2-time Emmy Award winner, Trevor Morris. I was just at the live screening of his show. He just wrote and directed his first movie. He's composed many movies, done the music for Olympus Has Fallen and many other movies. But he actually wrote and directed his first movie, and I was up there for the screening of it in Toronto recently. And he talks about this movie as really, it's somewhat autobiographical, and it's about the evolution and his breakdown in confidence and his having to find his own authenticity. And what this break in confidence is for you, Vintage 404 on TikTok, is it's forcing you to find who you really are. There's no success in any venture in life without the breakdown, without the being forced to your knees. Who the fuck are you really? And you're getting your fucking ass handed to you. And it hurts. It sucks. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Maybe I won't be able to do this. That's right. And you got your ass handed to you the first time. You chose to grind. You chose to do it again. What I would do if we were in session, honestly, is I would take you first, before we ever even got to that, I'd take you into the question of, why the fuck do you want this so bad? In fact, I would ask you this question: who are you trying to prove yourself to? Now, you might say, nobody. And that may actually be the truth. There may be nobody, but part of what you pay me for, part of what we're here for in all these questions, is I'm looking for blind spots. Just like you have blind spots when you're changing lanes with your car, you may have a blind spot. And I just got to check and make sure that there are none, or if they are, that we identify it. What's the real reason you're fucking doing this? Because this is a massive undertaking to take on over the age of 50, to go for the Series 7, to go into trading when you could be fucking day trading on your own. Why would you want to go and work for a corp? I'd be digging into those fucking questions. I would want to know, what I would really want to know is this question: what's the primary fear driving the behavior? Because the truth is, if you're smart enough to do that fucking work, if you're savvy enough to read trends, to feel trends, if you've already been playing that game, you've been doing fucking day trading, I fucking guarantee it, out of your own fucking home, I guarantee it. And you're good at it, and you want to get up into the big leagues, right? But why? I would want to know what's the primary fear driving the behavior, because there's a potential. I'm not saying it is this. There's a potential that you are doing this. And this isn't just your field. This is anybody's field. Anytime I have a client who is going for trying to hit in the big leagues, trying to get to the top, trying to become the very best at something, which I love those types of clients. I'm that same sort of mentality, or I have been in my life. I always look for what's the fear driving the behavior? Who are you really trying to prove yourself to? Who are the naysayers? What's the voice inside of you that you're trying to squelch? Maybe it's the voice of you're no good. You're not good enough. You're a loser. Kind of like the one we're talking to earlier on the show, talking about that voice inside of you're not good enough in your relationship. Or maybe that was a previous episode, the one on YouTube. Anyway, the point is, I would want to know if there's a voice you're trying to squelch or prove yourself to. Think about that one there, Vintage. But if not, if there's nothing there, but I always wonder if you're not failing at something or if you're not succeeding at something that you're truly passionate about, there's some sort of blockage inside of you. And I would want to know what it is. Something else is going on inside of you. If you were to speculate, got any thoughts on that, Vintage? Go ahead and roll it in if you get a shot. Proving to myself, lifetime dream. Well, there you go. Okay. He just spit it right out. He or she, I don't know. So then my question is, okay, what are you trying to prove yourself? Prove to yourself that I can do it, to be a trader. Great. And why has this been a lifetime dream? Why do you want to prove this to yourself? Now, I hope all the rest of you are tracking this, because this can apply to anybody where we're trying to prove something to ourselves. Why are you trying to prove it to yourself? So we just did a repeat episode interview podcast of Chief Master Sergeant Jeremy Hardy, the only person we've ever interviewed on the podcast. And he talks about even all through his career, even now into his 50s, this desire, this need to sort of prove himself, his virility and intense workouts and so on and so forth. He talks about it, and he's very candid and very open about it. And it's very interesting when you take that idea of even into his 50s, trying to prove his potency and his power and his strength. When you overlay against that the fact that he grew up with a mom who very much pounded into him the messages of you're weak, you're lazy, you'll never be strong enough to beat me. And so here he is still trying to prove himself. So I had a religion professor, Claire Johnson, in college at Gustavus, and he used to say, anytime you're seeing a protest, ask yourself, what are they protesting against? Anytime you hear a message, even if it's not a protest, anytime you hear any sort of message, what is that message a counter message to? So in this case, Vintage, or any of us, if you're trying to prove yourself, even if you think you're proving it to yourself, is it possible you're trying to prove it to someone else? That desire to prove to myself is actually an attempt to prove to someone else. Oh, then he responds with this, and this will be the last one I take from him, but he says, I wanted to build on my career in finance. I was in the mortgage sector for over 15 plus years, and I needed a challenge. Okay, well, if you needed a challenge, you got it. You got exactly what you wanted. I wanted to prove myself. Okay, you're being asked to prove yourself. You needed a challenge? Great, you got exactly what you needed. So if you want the God's honest truth, I mean, if we were in the weight room, and you and I were good buddies, I mean, close friends, not somebody I barely knew where I couldn't say this, but if you and I were lifting buddies and you'd been like, oh God, I missed it this weight, this is the third time. You want to honestly know what I'd say? Or if you were one of my athletes, I was formerly an NCAA strength coach, head coach for strength and conditioning. I'd look you in the face and I'd ask you, what's the number one rule of the weight room? And you would repeat back to me if you were one of my athletes, because you'd know what it is. And the answer is shut the fuck up and do the work. That's it. Just shut the fuck up. I saw a quote the other day, shut the fuck up and do the work. I saw a little TikTok. I'm not trying to be a dick. I said I would only say that to someone if we were good friends. So I'm treating you as if you are an intimate here. All right? You are in a hard-nosed business and you fucking know it. All right? And I was watching a TikTok the other day. It was Matt Damon. And he was being interviewed, and he was saying how he and Ben Affleck and Casey Affleck were in an act. They all had the same acting coach at wherever. And this one acting coach had a 5-word piece of advice. He said, and this is what all my work boils down to. This was Matt Damon talking. And it applies to the gym. It applies to anything. It applies to my work in counseling. Just do the work, kid. That's it. Just do the work. Or as I would say in the weight room, shut the fuck up and do the work. So in your case, you are having to prove yourself. Do you want it badly enough to do it a third time? Do you want it badly enough to do it a fourth time? See, you thought it was going to be easier than this, clearly. If it's knocked down your confidence, you thought you were good enough that you were going to get it one time or two time. How badly do you want to prove yourself? Are you willing to do it 5 times? Are you? You need to assume you're going to fail a few more times. Are you willing to keep going at it? How badly do you want it? Because all successes in life depend on this one thing, people. How badly do you want it? How fucking hungry are you? And these are the people I work with in my work, which is why I charge the exorbitant rate I charge, so that I can do all this free work here with you guys. I mean that. 1,500 free fucking videos, free podcasts, free all this shit. That's why I charge, but because I like playing with the people who are really fucking intense, and I make them fucking pay. How badly do you fucking want it? And are you willing to get in the work and grind? And my girlfriend built an $80 million company in Manhattan. She's been president, primary shareholder since day one. At her peak, she had 2,500 employees globally. Built a massively successful business. Do you want to know why? 2 things. Well, 3 things. 1, grit. Just grit. Just do the fucking work. 2, she's the most gracious, sweet person on God's green earth. You would never know that she ran a multi-million-dollar company. And 3, she's brilliantly creative, but that's ancillary. All right. Rob, you got a question over there on YouTube?
I certainly do, Sven. It's from Carla, who asks, why do I feel so guilty for not wanting to sacrifice my adult life to take care of my mother, who abandoned me when I was 14? She has early onset dementia. I'm the only child, and she's married to the man she abandoned me for, but she hates him.
Why do I feel guilty for not taking care of my mother, who basically abandoned me when I was 14, etc.? Right?
Right.
Okay. Basically, if you feel guilty over doing what you want, or in this case, not doing something that you feel like you should be doing, it's because somewhere in you, you've been taught the belief that what you want and who you are, when it's, isn't good enough, isn't okay. Your voice isn't important. Somewhere in you is a voice saying, if your mom wants something, you should do it. Or maybe if anybody wants something, you should do it. You should give it to them. And your needs don't matter. Okay, this is childhood conditioning. And your mother was one of 2, likely, people who conditioned you to believe what you believe about yourself. So isn't it fascinating that the very person who, in part, conditioned you to believe that you don't matter, and we know that she conditioned you to believe this because she walked away from you when you were 14. What better way to teach someone they don't matter, to teach a child they don't matter, than to walk away from them? That's a bingo. Yeah, we just say bingo. She taught you don't matter, and now you feel bad for mattering enough to yourself. But part of it also is way down deep inside you, and the parts you don't want to look at. There is a kernel, maybe it's more than that, but there's at least a fraction of a percent of you that still wants your mother's approval and still wants your mother's love. And no doubt your other parent too, whether it's a father or a grandmother, whoever raised you. There's a part of you that still wants it. And the interesting thing is, very often when parents get old, not always, but often the one that takes care of them most is the one who got the least love when they were younger. It's an odd thing, but it's not odd when you think about it, because they have that kernel. They have that desire to still have their worth confirmed by their parent. And I'm going to keep trying. Even though I have 50 or 60 or 70 years of pattern behavior that mom or dad has no interest in confirming my worth, I'm going to keep trying, because maybe today is the day. Maybe if I just help them with the nursing home, maybe if I just take care of their finances, maybe if I just take care of their will, maybe even though now they're dead, maybe if I just be a good boy or good girl now in my 60s, that voice in my head will finally confirm worth, because they still own you. You think when your parents are dead, you think their voice is going to go away? No. So, and I wasn't referring to you in this case. I was just referring in general to people who think their problems go away when their parent dies. No, it won't, because their voice is still inside you. So in this case, you feel guilty because you were taught to believe that your feelings don't matter by obviously by this person. You don't matter. So now you're standing up for yourself. So A, it's you feel guilty because you were conditioned to believe you don't matter. You're not important. She taught you that by walking away from you. But B, also there's part of you that wants her to confirm your worth. Deep down, part of you, even though you'll never get it, or you believe you'll never get it, especially since she has dementia, and part of you still wants it and feels like you should because no one else is. Right? You have no obligation. She didn't give a shit about a child. There is no obligation. The contract was null and void the moment she walked away from you. You have no obligation to her just because, when she walked away from a child at age 14. And if you choose to feel the guilt, what you need to do, honestly, what you need to do in this case is you need to get into your journaling, write her some letters that you don't send, and your journaling, flush out the guilt, and then see what your answer is inside of you. What feels right? What is your course of action when it is no longer encumbered by guilt? Okay? And your action, whatever you choose, is you. No judgment, man. You be you. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it is coming from authentic self and not from externally imposed feelings, which the guilt obviously is because you were taught to believe you don't matter. So that's somebody else's fucking voice. If you choose this help her, go for it. If that comes from authentic you. If you choose to not help her, go for it. If it comes from authentic you. Next question.
She says, I know, but I feel like a horrible person.
Right. But that's why you have to journal. And that's why you have to flush out all your feelings. That's why you have to write her letters of all your anger and all your sadness and all your love and all your longing. Flush. People, what corrupts our thinking process, not even our thinking, our discernment process, what corrupts our clarity, what corrupts our courses of action more than anything else is all of the emotional charges inside of us, all of the memories that have emotional charges, all the things that are it's not the things that are happening, it's the feelings that go with it. This is why I'm constantly telling you guys the word F-L-U-S-H. Just like your toilet. Flush. It's not enough to bring up the feelings. You have to give them a point of exit. You have to flush out those feelings. Why? Because that's what's corrupting your ability to hear, to feel your own intuition. You have to be able to hear and feel your own intuition. And nothing is going to obstruct that process more than all those feelings. And you have to get those feelings out. Period. End of story. Next question. Adam says, it always boils down to a thinking problem. No, it always boils down to a feeling problem. Terrified of feeling. Next question. Elizabeth says, we hold the key. They don't. They never did. That's what Sven taught me. Pretty much true there. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Ginger asks on TikTok, I have financial ability and family support. Why am I so afraid to leave my 20-year marriage? You're terrified. And it's not that you're obviously not terrified of it financially. You're not terrified of not having family support. You're terrified of not having a person. And you're like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, oh, just hold on here, Tiger. What you're really terrified is when you walk away from this person, when you push this person out of your life, there's something that happens inside of you. Okay. One of two things is operating. Either you're afraid of what someone's going to think of you, or what's really going to happen is this. Inside of you, the messages are going to start to rise up. That you're alone now, that you don't have someone. And I'm willing to bet, if Vegas were to give me odds, I'm willing to bet that that having someone somehow confirms worth for you. So if you don't have someone, all those voices inside say, see, you're no good. See, you're not good enough. See, you're unlovable. See, there's something wrong with you. See, you don't matter. See, you're unwantable. There are some messages inside of you that rise up when you don't have someone. So when you have someone, this person is a living, breathing counter message to all those voices down deep inside of you. And those voices go somewhat quiet or dormant. But when you don't have someone and you walk away from that person, all those voices come up like this thunderstorm in your head, and it doesn't stop, and you're being tortured from within. And it's those voices that are the problem. It's those messages that you were taught to believe about yourself, that you're unwantable, unlovable, that you're not good enough, those sorts of voices. That's the real problem. And that, of course, is why I wrote the book. There's a hole in my love cup. And so if you want to actually solve the root problem, which is those voices, then you got to get down into that shit. All right. Adam D then comes back with his final question then. He says, so I just need to focus on how I feel about things. Is that what you're saying? No, it's not a one-sentence answer. It's a little complex equation here, but it's not complex. Fundamentally, what you're doing is, what's fucking you up right now, Adam, is inside of you, you have pain, fears, and bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself. Those three things, pain, fears, and bullshit beliefs you've been taught about yourself that you cannot see right now. Well, how do I solve a problem I can't fucking see? There's the question. When you were a child, at some point in your childhood, whether intentionally or unintentionally, oftentimes unintentionally by good parents or whoever raised you, messages about yourself and about life got pressed into the wet cement of your little soul. What does cement do? Cement hardens. And those messages hardened, they calcified, they got concretized, so to speak. And they become, if I may mix my metaphors, they became the viruses infecting the operating system of your life. What's a virus in an operating system of a computer? What makes it so bad? You can't fucking see it. That's why we got to go to Best Buy and have the fucking Geek Squad figure it the fuck out, because they are experts at seeing and finding and extracting viruses. So you've got viruses inside of you that are so extraordinarily powerful. They're like fucking 20-foot long tapeworms inside of your body, except they're longer and there's a whole bunch of them, and they are infecting everything. Now, it seems asinine to a lot of people. It seems so hard to believe until I get down in there. And that's, of course, what the book is for, or just use the free TikToks. Use my 1,500 free videos. You don't have to buy a goddamn thing if you don't want to. Just listen to this fucking podcast. And the fact that you're asking these particular questions, which are very good questions, says you probably don't follow my podcast, because this is shit we get into with really everybody's question is some derivative of your question, just in a more specific area. But how do you do it? And you do it by these tools that I'm talking about of journaling. You have to begin to pull up the memory. So you have lots of memories that have emotional charges attached to them. So that's some of the thinking part, is thinking about what the memory is. So when I'm counseling people who've gone through trauma, we're bringing up the memory, but then we're also bringing up the feelings that are attached to those memories. Now, some people can't even feel their feelings, or were never taught how, or were never allowed how. So part of it is, well, I can't fucking do it. So then, and I teach the tools for how to do that. All right. But even if you can, the thoughts and the feelings, that's not even the ultimate problem. The real problem is the context in which you existed. And the context in which you existed are those beliefs that got pressed into the wet cement of your soul. And I have tools in the book and in the podcast, I teach them as well. And in my, little 1-minute videos or 4-minute videos that I do, for beginning to identify the core beliefs that you were taught to believe about yourself that were bullshit to begin with. Okay? And basically what happens, and this is a very simple version, I'm going to sort of close with this. When we are children, age 2, 3, 4 years old, the child innately believes mom and dad, or whoever is raising you, grandma and uncle, whoever is raising you, mom and dad are good. Mom and dad love me. Okay? They're up here. They are good and they love me. Therefore, and the child doesn't go through this thought process consciously. The really fucked up part is this is happening somewhere deep inside the child. They're good and they love me. Therefore, if I'm not getting love from them, I'm the problem. Something's wrong with me. I'm at fault. It's my fault. Because mom and dad are good. They're just good. Look, they're great. They're good. And they love me. I know they do. If I'm not getting the love, I have to fix it. I'm the problem. Something's wrong with me. All right. Do you see how already the child is beginning a belief system? By not getting the love, a belief system is already starting. There's something wrong with me. I'm at fault. Because the child is simply not getting love. Now, that may happen quite unintentionally. What if the parents just work? They each work 2 jobs and they're almost never home for the child. Now, they think they're getting love by providing a roof and shelter and so on and so forth. But quite unintentionally, if the child isn't getting love that a child needs, even though the parents may feel love, and even though it may not be their intent, if the child is not getting time, attention, affection, listening, guidance in life, those real basics that we all want, even as adults, if the child's not getting it, the child is thinking, it is feeling the absence of love. And the child's brain naturally goes to, there must be something wrong with me. Think about it. Think about it. Have you ever had somebody break up with you and your brain goes to, oh, God, what's wrong with me? God, I always fuck up relationships. I'm too loud. I'm so obnoxious. Or, geez, I never say enough. I need to talk more. Or, oh, I screwed that one up too. We turn on ourselves. Not all the time, but many times when someone leaves us or if a friend doesn't want us, we turn on ourselves. I must be the problem. Now, part of that can be good, right? Reflecting on something to find out how I can fix part of my share of the problem. But a lot of times we just turn on ourselves. Well, if we're doing it as fully functioning, operational adults, how much more so would a child turn on themselves, right? Mom and dad are good. Mom and dad love me. Therefore, if I'm not getting the love, I must be the problem. So we're seeing the beginning of a core belief. I am at fault. There's something wrong with me. If you press that message, just that one, not to mention all the other ones, if you press that message into the wet cement of a child, it will harden. How do you think a child who is now 14 or 15, who believes there's something wrong with me, how do you think they are going to operate in their friend groups? How do you think they're going to operate, act, behave when they're dating someone? If I believe there's something wrong with me, what am I going to look for from you? I'm going to look for confirmation of my worth. I'm going to look for you to confirm me. I might even do things just to have you make me feel good about myself. Maybe I'll spread my legs for you. Maybe I'll let you treat me badly. Why? I just need you to like me because there's something wrong with me. I'm not lovable. When I pick my career, I may not go after what I want. I may go after a safe career because I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be work for a trading company, and take a Series 7 test. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't even try. I'm not good enough to have somebody who treats me well in a marriage, so I'll tolerate this behavior. You can see how that core belief taught to a small child could affect every single decision for a very long time. Right? Or not just allowing yourself to be treated poorly. I've seen it go the other way, where the child believes, I'm not good enough, I'm no good. So the child will start to steal love, manipulate the parent, manipulate siblings, manipulate other people to get love from them. Now we see the birth of a narcissist. So what's the point? The point is we have to go down and begin to discern what the core beliefs are that a person is taught about themselves, because that's where the real action is happening that's going to determine the trajectory of the rest of your motherfucking life. And it's until we go down and deal with those core beliefs, until we do that, we are not living authentically. We are not sui generis, self-generating. We are owned by someone else's belief system, whether they intended to or not. I want to share one last thing with you. Back when I was a clergyman, I was a Lutheran pastor, went through seminary and all that. My undergraduate degree was in mathematics and religious studies. My master's, 4-year master's degree was in divinity, and Lutheran pastor at a couple of churches. And at one church in particular, I was running the entire confirmation program, 7th through 9th grade students. And when they would come into the program, I would sit down and I would meet in my office with 2 students at a time. And it was very informal. I'd take about 30 minutes. I'd just meet with them and we'd just talk about, what's your experience been like? Tell me about your life. What sports are you in? Or are you in theater? What play are you working on? Or that sort of thing. But I'd always open that by asking them, give me 3 words that you would use to describe your parents, each of your parents. I'd describe mom as X, Y, and Z, and I'd describe dad as X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, that's cool. And then we're talking about, tell me about your friends and tell me about this and that. And, I'm taking general notes. Why? So that later on, if they're, I can just keep notes on people just so I know, reminders of who they are. So I have more of a personal touch. At the end of our time together, towards the end, I always ask them this question then, each of them individually. Use 3 words and describe for me your description of God. It was quite interesting. Why? Without exception, invariably, the 3 words they used to describe God were the same 3 words they used to describe their parents. Think about that just for a second, that child says, Mom and Dad are good. Mom and Dad love me. To the child's brain, even by 7th grade, the parent is God. Imbued with the powers of God. And I don't necessarily mean intellectually. They know there's a distinction between God, if there is a God in their theology, or if there isn't a God, isn't the point. The point is they perceive in the years younger than that, the parent as being endowed with all power. Therefore, if the parent says something or teaches something, it is gospel. If the child is not given love, the God is not the problem in the brain of the child. I, the weak, mortal child, am clearly the problem, because God is good and God loves me. Mom is good. Mom loves me. Dad is good. Dad loves me. I must be the problem. And you don't think that motherfucking belief will corrupt an entire life? I have clients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s having their life corrupted by these beliefs because they can't even see them. We extract the tapeworm, and they can finally live life. That's all I got.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. You know what song has been in my head?
I would like to know.
Goodbye Girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, David Gates.
David Gates.
Yeah.
And wasn't it, was that Streisand and Richard? Not Dempsey.
No.
What was the short little actor's name? He was in, he did Opus.
Wasn't it Richard Dreyfuss?
Richard Dreyfuss. That's what I was trying. That was him, right?
Yeah, but who was
Wasn't
the woman?
Streisand in the movie with him?
No.
No?
Goodbye Girl? No,
Yeah.
no.
You Googling it?
I'm IMDbing it.
IMDbing it.
Goodbye. Marsha Mason.
Oh, that doesn't ring a bell. I'm sure if I saw her face. Somebody says, how do you extract the tapeworm? How do you identify the beliefs? That's why I wrote the book, folks. It's more than I can explain right here. Get the book. There's a hole in my love cup. It's 70% of my counseling method in one book. I literally walk you through the process of extracting the tapeworm. I literally walk you through the process. And those of you, many of you are commenting, oh my God, I read the book, it kicked my ass. It absolutely does. But if you're going to get the book, you have to do the journaling exercises in the book and do them in writing. This isn't a head exercise. You have to do it on paper. You have to flush it out or journal it out in your, type it out in your computer, whatever. The book is available on the website, badasscounseling.com. It's available as audiobook only on the website. Audiobook, ebook, and paperback. That's the badasscounseling.com. And yeah, the book is There's a Hole in My Love Cup. Rob, any thoughts on today's show?
Speaking on behalf of our audience and for myself, I think we're all feeling flushed.
Aha! Well played. I'm feeling flush.
It's not warm in here.
No.
And I'm not embarrassed, but we are flushed. Thanks to you, my friend.
Do you want to know when I feel a little flush?
I give up.
If I have too much niacin.
Really? You've made this connection?
When I was a teenager, we had to take vitamins. And one day I took a whole pill of niacin, I guess, and I just went flush immediately. And Mom said, well, just take half a pill. Turns out Mom knew best.
Wow.
Yeah, there you have it. Niacin, people. I don't even know what niacin does, but I know what it did to me. So that's all I know about that. Find people. Yes, Sequoia, we do have a hardcover. On behalf of KC in the booth, Rob the Rocket sitting next to me, I'm Sven Erlandson. This is the Badass Counseling Show, and I want you to have a kick-ass day.
The Badass Counseling Show is strictly copyrighted. No copies may be made without the express written consent of the Badass Counseling Show, LLC. The Badass Counseling Show is produced by Karen Camparelli and Robert H. Friedman. Executive producer Sven Erlandson. Original music by two-time Emmy Award-winning composer Trevor Morris. Have a kick-ass day.